What's going on, guys? Welcome to Stock Watch Sunday, where we talk about everything over-the-counter penny stocks and what to watch for the coming week. My name is Brad, and this is Own the Chaos, where we look at all of the other over-the-counter stocks and own the chaos that is the OTC. So welcome. If you're watching for the first time, this channel is specifically dedicated to over-the-counter penny stocks, and man, what a crazy week it's been last week. I expect it to really kind of continue into this week, and I'll explain my reasonings as to why and which stocks that kind of are really heating up going into next week. And if you guys, again, are visiting for the first time, I encourage you to subscribe if you're looking for some pretty highly volatile stocks that, could really kind of get the blood boiling, but can also, scare you a little bit. But what we do here on the Own the Chaos channel is I show people how to manage that level of volatility, that level of risk. And because of all of that, I've also created a platform with my partner Jake's called WeTrade HQ. So if you guys are curious about being involved in another community, and it's not like any other community that's out there, we literally have anything that you want to trade all under one roof, and a community that supports that. So not just dedicated to over-the-counter penny stocks like this channel is, but also big board stocks, Forex, futures, options, ETFs, even cryptocurrencies, you name it. No matter what you're trading in the market, WeTrade HQ is the place for you. We have over 4,000 members from around the globe learning and growing and celebrating each other's success. It's absolutely free. So why don't you go ahead, look at the description and check those links down below, and I guarantee you will not regret joining our community. So let me welcome some folks here now that I got that out of the way. Jake, good to see you. Alan, as always, another Jake. Craig, Seth, Bob, Jesse, Austin, 500 Magnum, Robert, WeTrade HQ admin, Jen, Brett, Jim, and Red Fox. Can't forget you, Jag. As always, I saw your tweet on Twitter. Awesome to see your amazing wins as well in the big board stocks as well. So awesome. Awesome to see you, just excelling in the stock market no matter where in the world that you're trading. So what are we watching this week? I got 5 stocks that we're watching this week that I think have had some momentum in the past and are continuing on from last week. And I think we'll also continue on into this week. I know that you guys have a lot of burning questions. So as always, if you're looking to have me take a look at maybe some tickers that maybe I don't mention in the 5 stocks that I'm watching this week, please feel free to leave messages within the chat, as you guys see are doing so already. But don't just throw tickers out there either. Don't just say thoughts on insert blank here. Give me something. What value do you see in this particular stock that maybe you're asking me to take a look at? Is there good share structure? Is there maybe potential catalysts? And what are they? What are those potential catalysts that you see value in? Give me something to go off of just to make sure that we're running a little bit more efficiently. I've kind of been extending out these Stock Watch Sundays because there have been so many of you tuning in, which is awesome. I love to see that, and I love to see you guys engaging, but I really kind of want to make sure that we're still running efficiently, and I'm not just trying to search around, trying to figure out what's going on with it. I need to at least give me something to go off of so that I can at least know what direction I'm headed in. I do a lot of due diligence on these stocks on my own time. There's going to be a little bit of a time dedicated to that, and I don't want to waste anybody's time within Stock Watch Sunday. So at least give me something to go off of so that I have at least a good head start and going into the right direction with what you see value in, so that way I can continue to further evaluate maybe what's going on there. And honestly, we've had a lot of people that have brought some potential stocks in that really took off later in the week. So I don't want to discourage anybody, but at least give me something that I can go off of. So having said all that, let me go ahead and share my screen with you and share what I'm talking about when I'm talking about WeTrade HQ. So if you go to WeTradeHQ.com, this is the platform that is what Jake and I have created. So if you are interested in any particular ticker that you have seen value in, no matter what it is, you can go and check it out in the search bar up here. And you type it in, just like I've done with LFAP, which we've talked about previously. And, you can check out the technical analysis that we have here with our integrated trading view charts, as well as chat about it with your friends about your favorite tickers as well. There's also all kinds of other free tools that can help you become a better trader, such as the WeTrade Tracker, WeTrade Live, and all kinds of other awesome tools that are absolutely free for you to use on the site. So, without further ado, I'm going to go over the first one that we're watching this week, or that I'm watching this week, is LFAP. Now, again, I don't want to encourage people that just because I'm watching it means that you have to buy it. This isn't like a, I don't want to, how do I want to put this? This is just a watch list, right? This isn't like a buy list or sell list. I want you guys just to kind of like observe how I see value in particular stocks, watch my, system on how I do due diligence, and that maybe you can use this strategy to potentially, become successful trading these very volatile stocks as well. So LFAP is another one of those ones. I know that I've talked about this within my morning mentorship group, and if you're interested in that, you can check that out in the links below as well. But my morning mentorship group, I always talk about building your account with long-term positions and then also looking for ones that have short-term potential as well. LFAP is one of those stocks where I see a lot of good long-term potential in. And we saw a nice run-up, 52-week highs at 26 last week, and then it had a pretty sharp drop down. And I think a lot of that was because people were reading the 8K that came out recently they didn't read it correctly. So just to kind of recap that, so if I go into disclosures on OTC Markets, pull up the most recent 8K, what people were looking at was these Series B convertible preferred stocks. But what we talked about within my morning mentorship group, and I even talked about this with you guys on one of my midday market recaps, was that this has nothing to do with the average everyday investor. This has everything to do with preferred stockholders. And really, this isn't even going to take effect, if you read further into the 8K, for another 2 years. So this completely was overreaction. And I anticipate that LFAP is going to have a nice little comeback moving into next week. This didn't run up to over 26 cents for no reason. And I don't know why people were selling off of that 8K that was recently released, because it really has no impact whatsoever on investors such as you and me. Nobody that is watching this video, particularly, I'm sure, has any preferred shares of LFAP. They're specifically reserved for people who, such as officers, maybe investors that are in the company that have these preferred shares. They are not for anybody that would be holding common stock, which would be people like you and me who are buying common stock and experiencing, I don't want to say experiencing, but basically just holding shares of common stock. We don't have access to anything that preferred shares or preferred stock would entail. So any of those stipulations or regulations or anything within that 8K that refers to preferred stock has no impact on you and I as far as shareholders are concerned. So there's my take on LFAP. Obviously, you can see on the Bollinger Bands that they're tightening up quite well, and you can see that it's starting to look like it could be a potentially oversold situation. We always have been talking about, especially recently, this solid support level at 14.5 cents, give or take 14.5 cents. Anytime it wants to bounce down off of that 14.5 cent range, it reverses right back up off of that. And we've seen that several times. We even saw this on Thursday. Thursday going into Friday, we saw it came right down to 14.5 and boom, reversed right back up into the 18, 19 cent range. And it, just kind of been settling out around that area. We've seen that typical Friday sell-off that we always see on Fridays, but that's not really anything of concern to me. It was only down 1%. So LFAP, what's the future of LFAP? I think it's very good. I think it's very bright. Still very bullish on LFAP, and any kind of advantages that you may see within that 14.5 cent range, I would say would be a good place to add. And or if you're looking to enter on a position of LFAP, I would say 14.5 cents would also be a good area. Just looking at the chart here would be a good area to also enter in as well, just because we've seen such a strong support on the chart wise at that 14.5 cent range. Andrew says 8K was pure funding agreement with an institutional investor, just waiting to find out who it is. And I absolutely agree with that. Everybody just read this absolutely wrong. I think, Andrew, and you can, give your input on this as well, is that I think all that happened was that everybody was reading convertible Everybody saw the word convertible and freaked out. And that's exactly what I think happened because, you know, in the OTC, if you see convertible, all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, there's convertible shares. They're gonna dump on us. They're gonna dilute. They're gonna go. The share price is it's gonna fight to get stay at this price because there's going to be dilution occurring. Literally all they saw was convertible and then got the hell out and didn't read anything else in that 8K, which lends you the opportunity to potentially, like I said, add to your position. Or if you're looking for potential areas to enter in LFAP, if you see value here, is that 14.5 cent range is where you would potentially look for areas to add into or enter into because of this overreaction to this 8K, which really kind of isn't really valid in my opinion. The CEO has a lot of good things going on. LFAP is a legitimate company with legitimate directors on their board. We've already gone over that last week and the week prior, so if you want to look more into that, please refer to last week's Stock Watch Sunday. And I mean, just huge, big players in the LFAP. It's an LGBTQ ETF, the only one of its kind that I know of. So that is why I see a lot of long-term potential and why LFAP could be a good long-term, stock to really kind of build your account around if you're looking to do something along those lines. So there you have it. LFAP is one that I'm going to be looking at into next week and beyond. And that is why I see tons of value there. Again, like I said, 14.5 cent range looks like it'd be a good area there for LFAP. So let me check in with some folks. Yep. So Andrew seems to be agreeing with panic sell from Sheeple. Yeah. Facepalm. Yeah, it's a tough one, right? But it lends us opportunities to again build our positions on that kind of stuff, and I'm still I'm very happy and very bullish on something like LFAP. Red Fox asked, do you possibly see it going over $1? Look, I think the potential certainly there. Do I think it's going to happen? I mean, anybody's guess. That would be anybody's guess, right? As to whether or not it's going to go over $1. I would venture to say if we got bigger players within the LGBTQ community, such as like maybe some mainstreamers, and I'm not going to, speculate, but let's just say by a chance somebody like Ellen DeGeneres, somebody that big time players within the LGBTQ community, that could come into LFAP, that would send it clearly, very clearly over $1. Something like that major that would happen. I think $1 would be minimal as far as movement's concerned. But having said that, we don't know. We don't know who the players are going to be, so it's just going to be, a sit and wait. I still think there's a lot of good long-term potential with LFAP, and that's just, my opinion based off of all the due diligence, all the news, all the filings that have come out, and the way that the charts reacted up to this point. It's gone from 0.003 all the way up to over 26 cents. And so I think that it's going to be a good year for LFAP. We'll just have to sit and wait. So next one, CMGO, as you guys are seeing on my screen already. Filings didn't come out next week or this past week like we anticipated, like we thought was going to happen. However, we saw a significant pullback, and this was on March 29th. Significant pullback, and then it kind of settled back into this area around 2 cents flat. And then all of a sudden, I can't explain why, it went back up closer to that 3 cent range. No particular rhyme or reason as to why it did that. All I can tell you, though, is that people still see a lot of value in CMGO because those filings have yet to come out. And as I've said before, we don't know what's going to be in those filings as far as a settlement is concerned. So this is still very much one to watch for this week. The reason why I'm looking at this is because, I still want to see what's going on in those filings. A lot of us within the WeTrade HQ community, within my morning mentorship group, got in at 0.003, well below sub penny, and it has experienced almost 1,000% gains since the 1st of March, and then had a healthy pullback all the way down here to the really strong support at 1.2, bounced sharply off of 1.2, and then again settled around 2 cents. And all of a sudden, some crazy buy came in towards the end of the week, and it headed back towards near highs of that 3 cent range. So what's going to happen next week? I would love to see a filing. I would love to see some sort of 9-figure settlement come out for CMGO, and this thing will skyrocket to a dime or more if that be the case. Again, just my opinion based off of historical events that have happened similar to this. But if those filings come out and it underwhelms, we could see some trouble for CMGO. Again, it's just going to be one of those ones to watch. But you can't argue the 1,000% gains that we've seen with CMGO since our entries down in the 003 area. And even if you got sub penny, you're still sitting pretty here with CMGO. Red Fox says it looks scary to you. If it looks scary to you, then don't buy it. That's one of those things that, we try to encourage in the WeTrade HQ community, is not to just buy something because somebody tells you to. And we really try not to tell anybody to buy anything, and to make your own decisions based off of, your due diligence, the way that you're watching these charts and how they're developing. So if there's something that you just don't like here, then there's no reason why you should be buying it, right? But if you zoom in, you're looking here at the 30-minute chart. I think it looks pretty darn good at 2.7. We'll see if it kind of holds that support going into Monday and into the next week. If, for whatever reason, we don't see a filing next week, it could spell trouble for CMGO. Reason being is that there's going to be a lot of investors that really could grow weary of this, or grow bored, grow frustrated because we were told that there was going to be a target date of April 1st for that filing to reveal that what the outcome of that settlement was. So if people don't see that next week, we could see some frustration growing, and we could see a drop off of CMGO. But having said that, it seems like people are still very bullish on it. People are very excited for what's about to come potentially for CMGO. I would say that if it dips to, 2.5 cents, I could see a support level there. I also see a support level probably like 2.3. And if it goes below that, we're looking at 1.8, 1.7. That would be support levels there as well. So if you're looking to either build on a position of CMGO or look to buy into dips on CMGO, those would be the areas that I would, if it were me, to get into. Now, I am in CMGO. I have an average now of about 1.8. So, I played this from sub penny, sold out when I noticed that there was some pretty significant selling, and then got back in the 1.018 area, and I've just kind of been chilling ever since then. So we'll just kind of see where this goes from here. I'm pretty excited for what may come. If it doesn't, could spell trouble for CMGO, and we're just going to have to watch and wait and see. I know a lot of you guys are in on this one, and it's just going to be, again, one of those ones where you just have to figure out what you want to do, what your risk tolerance is, what your time horizons are with CMGO, and if it's something that smells fishy to you, if you don't like it, if it's something that makes you feel uncomfortable, then don't trade it. This is Stock Watch Sunday, right? This is one, just a stock that we're keeping a close eye on because there's so much buzz going on around it with a potential 9-figure settlement that could be coming out within, hopefully this week in the form of some filings that were promised to us. So that is CMGO. Next one's going to be BMMJ. Now, we talked about this within our recent midday market recaps. BMMJ, they are medical marijuana dispensaries all over the country, particularly out west. We saw value in this, and shout out to Jesse. If you're still watching, Jesse, certainly appreciate the insight that you gave within our morning mentorship group. And that's the beauty of our community. I don't try to pretend that I'm the best trader that's out there. I, try to do my best on things that I see value in, and I'm still very successful, but it's impossible for any one person to find value in every single stock that's out there. So sometimes people, when they start learning things, when they start figuring out how my system works, how, I find value and how I find success, and they go off and do this on their own, then they see value in certain things that perhaps maybe just kind of flies under the radar. BMMJ was one of those. We saw value in this around the 76, 75 cent range. Lots of folks got in between 75 and 80 cents. And all this is done, it's gone up to $1.17, 52-week highs for BMMJ. And the reason is because, they came out recently with news. Let's see here. 321. Yeah, so they expanded to Arkansas And it really, I feel like it was kind of like a delayed reaction. And we talked about this, I believe, on Stockwatch Sunday last week, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, where I saw value in this, and then I was like, you know, this looks like it could have a lot of room to go, barring any kind of significant volume. And we have obviously since seen that all of this week. Really strong moves. And honestly, if I take away this arrow here, let me take this away, and you can kind of really clearly see a good stair-stepping pattern that's going on with BMMJ over, you know, a couple of days, really this past week. So if we look at this chart here, this is April 2nd. This was Tuesday of last week. We can see a nice little stair-stepping pattern since Tuesday of last week when you know, the money really started to catch on. The volume started to come in. BMMJ has been a nice little mover here. I would anticipate that the value here, you know, and it could be another longer term potential type of play. I'm not going to say that it's going to go crazy this week, but I definitely think that there's value to be had here getting into, you know, if it settles around 115. I could even argue that perhaps there would be a area to buy in around $1 if it dips down to that point. But as strong as it is right now, I would say that it could even get to that $2, maybe even $3 range, depending on what may continue to come with BMMJ. Guys, what's going on here? If you go and do some more due diligence with BMMJ, what they've been partnering with as far as dispensaries are concerned. And then again, when I'm talking about dispensaries, obviously, you know, I'm talking about the cannabis industry. The share structure looks pretty good. It's actually pretty great, if I'm honest. And no really dilution to speak of. BMMJ could be a great mover going into late spring, early summer. So again, if I'm looking at the chart here, I really like the areas around $1.15. I like the areas around $1. Could see a nice little double or maybe even triple move from BMMJ from these areas going into, again, that late spring, early summer season. So let's see here. Just catching up here. Just wanted to catch up with some of the comments here. So yeah. All right, cool. So the next one, VYST. I've been talking about this again since the beginning of March, where we saw a significant support area from the 4.5 cent range, and all it's done is gone 100% since then. Really nice, strong move up to 8.5 cents late last week, and you know, you guys were great and supportive enough to let me have the day off on Friday, but Friday was another great day for VYST, and really, you know, this is something that I don't usually like to do, but if I go to Investors Hub, this is what was shared from my court case concerning VYST. The CEO, Steve Rotman, basically declared that all third-party convertible age debt has been paid off. Two companies have invested $200K at 15 cent strike price, which we kind of already knew, but this kind of confirmed that, and I think that's why we saw some nice buying going on later in the week last week. This is from Thursday, Friday, really from 5, 8, 6 cents range all the way up to 8.5 cent highs. VYST, another good, you know, legitimate company that you're looking to build a position around. You know, it's been a really awesome mover since early March, and this has been another one that I saw a lot of value in from the start, and it gave us opportunities to kind of get in at a lower price. And I think that perhaps we could even see, you know, those 52-week highs again of, you know, 16, 17 cent area rather quickly, barring any sort of significant catalyst with VYST. So I think they're coming, and it's just going to be one of those patience and waiting games for VYST. Especially, it's good to see that they're taking care of all that convertible debt. No more dilution going on with VYST. And as long as they can continue taking care of that kind of stuff, I think it's going to be in some good shape. And we'll be laughing at this 8 cent range, like I said, barring any significant catalyst. Yes, and the EMA merger, thanks for bringing that to our attention, Stone Cold. The EMA merger is also going to be another significant move for VYST as long as everything goes well. Yeah, thanks, Alan. Appreciate you manning the ship over there, man. So last one's going to be MJTV. This is kind of my wild card. You guys see that I have wild cards every now and then. And MJTV is going to be another one of those. We've had some pretty significant moves from some wild cards or dark horses, if you will. And we've seen some significant volume coming from NJTV towards the end of last week. If you can look at this chart here, we haven't seen this kind of volume really since February of this year. And last time it had that kind of volume, it went up to over a penny. So this could be a nice little breakout here. It's breaking out over this 0029, 003 area. Shout out to I Like BB Stock, who alerted this one within our We Trade HQ community at 0015. All it's done since then, this week, just in the last few days, has doubled. So if you were able to get in at this 0015 area within our We Trade HQ community, and you have been in since, you have experienced a 100% gain. What I'd like to encourage people within our community and how I strategize these type of things is that if you got in at 0015 and you have doubled your money at this point, I always like to suggest protecting your initial income, your initial investment at all costs. So if you got in you put $1,000 into MJTV, you have since doubled that, so your position size is $2,000. Then you would sell $1,000 of that. So let's just say, for example's sake, that you had 1 million shares that you bought at 0015. So now that you got to 003, you've doubled your money. So then you would sell 500,000 shares. So that now all that's in there is 100% profit. So that you've protected that initial investment, so that you can use to buy whatever else, any other stocks that have value that you could see potential in to continue to build your account out. And now now you're stress free. You're playing with house money. You got everything that's in there is 100% pure profit. So you got 500,000 shares that you can kind of do whatever you want with. If it breaks this, if it continues to break out of this channel here, it could be a nice little mover and go up to a penny. If it does not do that, if it's underwhelming, again, we're seeing that this is moving potentially because of dilution appears to have ended on MJTV, or at least backed off to a point to where it can, really start to move. So if we're looking at this, objectively, just to try to make some cash on it, we could, look at it and say, okay, if dilution comes back on it, then I don't want to hang around too long. This could be a shorter term play. If some more, info comes out on MJTV, because of this unusual volume. We see that a lot. Sometimes there'll be unusual volume coming in and then a significant catalyst will come out. We see that oftentimes. That's why it's important to have a really good scanner to sniff out some of this stuff. And if you're interested in checking out scanners, again, I have videos on all of that, and I'll be happy to share those with you if you're having trouble finding them. I'm actually looking to revamp a lot of those videos as well, so be sure to be on the lookout for them. But MJTV is going to be one of those dark horses that I refer to a lot. We saw, again, 114% move on Friday. Really amazing play with MJTV, and we'll just kind of see where it goes from here. If dilution continues to stay off, I would expect to see at least a move to 01 or more, depending on what else may come of MJTV. So let's see what else we got here. I'm going to check in with you folks. See if we got any more questions. Let's see here. I saw a significant... I thought I saw some questions on a particular ticker, and I wanted to kind of cover. Let's see. Oh, there it is. KRFG. What's your take on KRFG? 0038, potential reverse merger with Kogtech. 150 million yearly revenue. So yeah, let's take a look at it. So KRFG, this had some significant moves, if I remember correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, whoever's watching, whoever is currently in KRFG, that this actually has made some really great moves. Anybody who got into this at the bottom of the move for KRFG is sitting pretty, but we'll see where this goes from here. So yeah, I like the chart here. It looks pretty good. Looks actually like it's I don't want balance of power like Bollinger Bands. You guys know that. And RSI. So let's get rid of this one. Yeah, I really like the way this chart is setting up. Looks like it's a nice consolidation here in this area around 0035. Looks like it could be a good spot to either accumulate your position maybe even make an entry if it continues to hold this support level. It looks really good, to be honest with you, from a chart perspective. I really like this area that it's kind of holding around. So, you know, you could make a case for building a position here at 0035. Obviously, it closed at 0038, ended kind of flat on the day. Low volume overall, but if you're looking to make a move on a KRFG before potential major catalyst comes about, then I'd say that that's probably a good spot to be in. I know a lot of folks got in here in the 000 range, and obviously you can see how that's moved since then. Really a lot of opportunities to make some pretty good cash on KRFG since that major move from the trips. What else is going on? So we go to OTC markets, KRFG. They have a yield sign. Oh, nope, it says pink. So they're current. I thought it said yield. So they are current. Looking at security details, the share structure is not exactly where I would like it to be. 995 million is getting on the heavy side, if I'm honest. But having said that, I mean, things, you know, stocks can move regardless of share structure as long as the money comes in. But if we're looking at KRFG, we don't really see a whole lot of dollar volume coming in on this. Having said that, though, there's still potential that this could move if there is a significant merger that goes on. So, to your point, let's see, who was it? Christian. So, you know, to your point, if there's a $150 million reverse merger that goes on with KRFG, we could see a significant move, and there would be enough dollar volume, I would anticipate, to get this thing moving well up beyond a penny if that indeed happens. I think what's going on here, and the reason that we've seen a lot of low volume, is because people are just kind of waiting around and seeing what happens. If that merger definitely happens, if it occurs, yeah, I would argue that you could see a significant move from KRFG. But, you know, as we've seen a lot of times, there's always potential for these types of things to happen, right? But does it indeed happen? Sometimes it may, sometimes it may not. I'm not going to speculate one way or the other whether it will or won't, but we're just going to have to watch and wait and see. If you see value in KRFG, looking at the chart, it looks like it's holding a nice support around 3.5, 0035 to 0038. I think even argument can be made around 0034 if you're looking to try to maybe lowball this. Even 0030 if it starts to dip to those areas. If you see value, those are going to be some good spots to accumulate your position if you see value in that. So I hope I answered your question on KRFG. Just kind of going to be a watch, wait, and see at this point with it, and until we see some more developments coming along with KRFG. Let's see. I see some questions on AXA. All right. Let's see here. Driver Dave. Let's see. Driver Dave. Was he the one that asked about? Oh, Driver Dave. FNMA, new head of FHFA. Starts tomorrow. Should pop. We'll see. Okay. Let's see here. FNMA. All right, I'll take a look. But FNMA isn't, it's a NASDAQ, right? Nope, just kidding. OTCQB. For some reason, I thought this was NASDAQ. My bad. Given that it's Fannie Mae, it probably should be an OTC, right? Looking at the chart of FNMA, we can see that it's starting to form a pretty decent bottom support level right here at 280. I wouldn't say bottom, but it's a support level nevertheless. Even maybe like 281, somewhere between 280 281. Looks like a decent support area. But, you know, what else is going on here? Give me something else. Let me see. FNMA. Quite quiet period before their 10K. Yeah, I mean, so let's see. All right, let's take a look at the disclosure. So their last quarterly filing was 2/14 of this year. So, and that was for the year ending in 2018. We're not going to probably see a quarterly filing from Fannie Mae. Probably, I would anticipate at least until the end of the month, maybe even going into May. I mean, let's just consider this, that the 10K for 2018 didn't come out until middle of February. So if, you know, things happen to where we don't see another quarterly filing based off of their, you know, existing timeline, we probably won't see another quarterly filing from them until the middle of May. Just based off of how they run things. So we'll see. I don't know if there's any other value to be had here, but if I'm looking at the chart, again, like I said, I could argue, make an argument for a support level around 280. But I mean, there's got to be something significant that happens with FNMA in order to get it kind of rolling. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? AXXA would be interesting to get your take on the past 2-week chart while they are in the quiet period before the 10K. Oh, I'm sorry. I got my stuff mixed up here. So AXXA. Sorry, guys. Sometimes these comments in the chat run together and it makes it difficult to read through sometimes. You got to keep me straight, you know? You got to keep me straight. So let's see. Okay. If I'm making a play on this based off and just basing it off of technical analysis, if I'm looking at a chart here, I like 012. I like 012 a lot. Looks pretty good there. But AXA has made some crazy ass moves in the past. We look at the daily chart and we go back to like the summertime. Look at this one. I mean, I remember this from the summer. I mean, it went from what, sub penny to 37. That's insane. That's literally insane. We go to their share structure, and I know that they've increased their share structure a little bit, but they get any kind of significant catalyst that gets this thing moving. Look, 227 million. So that's really next to nothing. That's a pretty good, it's a really good share structure for AXA. Could this thing get a move on? We'll see. Even on the daily chart, it looks like that this is a pretty good area for accumulation and really kind of building a position. But gosh, is there any other catalyst that we're expecting here? Let's see. I mean, quarterly filings, sometimes they could have gems in them to really kind of get them moving, but we got to see something from them. There's got to be something else. Just other than, there's got to be something significant within that Q filing to kind of really get this going. Feds are talking about cutting it loose. If they cut it loose, that doesn't really end well for Fannie Mae. You know, to be honest with you, Driver Dave, Toys R Us was a Fortune 50 company before they went belly up. So I don't really put too much emphasis on that. You know, we know what happened with Toys R Us. So when I'm doing due diligence, I don't really care if they're a Fortune 500 or Fortune 10. I want to look at the chart. I want to look what they got going on. What's their financials look like? Fannie Mae, if the Fed drops them, that's going to spell a lot of trouble for them. So we'll see. If they go private, it could, you know, if they go private and they get funded, it could be a good move. Yeah, and favorable court ruling, that could be a good move as well. We'll just have to wait and see. If you're looking to see value in this, though, and you think that could potentially be happening, obviously manage your risk wisely. And if you're looking to build a position, and I'm looking at the chart here, I kind of like it around 012. It's just kind of one of those areas that looks like it's a good spot to accumulate. And we'll see if that continues to accumulate. But if I'm looking at a good bottom position, let's maybe say I'm waiting for a good pullback. I want to see a decent sell-off so that I could get in at a really cheap price. Looking at it at 007. So anything sub penny, really 007. I could even make an argument for 0068 for those areas to make good entries on. But there's a lot of ifs that is going on with FNMA, and we'll see what happens moving into that. So it looks like Bob's providing some pretty good info on FNMA. So if you guys are curious about that, take note there and see what folks are talking about. I'm sure we'll continue the conversation within our WeTrade HQ platform and in our Discord group. So let's see here. EMBI may be interesting, similar action to BMMJ. So we'll take a look at that one. EMBI. Oop, I think I typed in the wrong one. EMBI. Oh, it didn't come up. Might be one that we don't have just yet, but I'll get with Jake on that one. EMBI. Let me just double. Yep. Oh, no, not there. Okay, so maybe it's on OTC markets. There it is. Let's check out share structure. So anytime I'm looking at the quality of a stock, one of the first things I'm looking at is share structure. This looks real small. So this could be a good one to get into if there's some decent catalysts that go on here. But you like the chart. Yeah. Can't get it pulled up on WeTrade just yet, but I promise you it'll be pulled up by the end of after this video, it'll be up. If you want to go look at it on the chart, it'll be up there on WeTrade HQ. Every once in a while, you have these OTCs that not a whole lot of people look at. You can see it kind of ended no bid. So the question here is, without even looking at a chart and just kind of looking at how it was traded on Friday, could be, I don't know, could be some areas of the issue could be liquidity. You know, if you get stuck in this one, you know, and obviously the share structure is really small. So there's that double-edged sword when it comes to share structures that are that tiny. There could be, you know, it could go up very quickly, but it could also come down just as quick, if not faster. So be careful with this one. If you see value in it, you know, I think it could definitely go off. But, you know, I don't know if it's going to be one of those ones that it's going to be really easy to get out of. So just be cautious with this one when it comes to liquidity with EMBI. You know, BMMJ is a little bit different because we've seen so much volume coming in this one, a lot of dollars moving in and out of BMMJ. So you can get in and out quite easily. Looks like potentially that EMBI may be a little bit of a different situation there. Okay, let's see. See if there's any other ones. How are your Orioles today? I don't want to talk about it. Getting our money's worth out. Yeah, appreciate you, Alan. All right, so I'll take a look at one more. CLOK, Andrew, I like it. So this is what I want to see, guys. More information that I have, the better off I am when giving my 2 cents on it. So Andrew says CLOK, $13 million in cash on hand, no notes, all debts paid. Red Fox, I'll get to YRIV. It's not an OTC, but I can give my 2 cents on it. You know, I really like to just stick to over-the-counter stocks, but it is what it is. So CLOK, cash on hands from private placement, recently picked up on FIPS certification to be able to sign government contracts long place. So thank you, Andrew, for doing what I asked. Take note, peeps. Oop. Giving me something to go off of. So I like it so far. You know, you at least gave me something. So it's trading at 95 cents. That's what it closed at on Friday. Looking at 30-minute chart here, breaking down some indicators, some of my faves. Looking at it here, just hanging out right in the middle. RSI hanging out right in the middle of the Bollinger Band. So from a chart perspective, I would agree, Andrew. It looks like probably a longer play. If you can get in around 95, I would say even if you wanted to lowball it at 84, you want to break it back out. It looks like 84 could have been, actually 80 cents would have been a 52-week low. So it looks like it could potentially be bouncing off of that. Looking at CLOK from a fundamental standpoint, this is super tiny. This is scary. Again, just areas of liquidity. So when you're looking at float, 5 million is super, super tiny, which means that very little dollar volume is going to get this thing going. But it could also mean that a few whacks on the bid and you're right back down, maybe even below where you started. Issue here is going to be liquidity. If there's enough dollar volume to get this thing moving, then you might be fine. But barring if there's not going to be any significant catalyst coming for some time and you're stuck in this one, you might want to just wait around a while and see what happens. Penny stock exempt. I don't see this a whole lot on OTC markets, so that's interesting. I like it. We talked about penny stock exempt. I can't remember what the last one we talked about was. It was a couple weeks ago. But that's always good. You always like to see that. That's a good all three of these. Verified profile, penny stock exempt, transfer agent verified. I mean, you can't say anything bad about it at all. The only thing is that, volume, right? Liquidity. We want to see this thing moving nice and easy. It doesn't look like it's moving all that nice and easy right now. So if there's a significant catalyst that comes in, it brings in a lot of buyers. Yeah, sure, we could see this really moving quite nicely. But 5 million float, gosh, that's really small down here for the OTC specifically. Most recent, they had an 8K on the 4th. What was the 8K indicating? So that was what, Thursday, I want to say. March 29th, entered into marketing consultant services agreement. So not really a crazy 8K that I would be mind blown by. Just company will remit $37,000 to SRB, $10,000 monthly thereafter. Basically just talking about, looks like a marketing firm that they're meeting up with or that they hired. No big deal, So I don't know if there's really anything there. Given what you've disclosed, Andrew, I definitely see some value here. But the problem is going to be, obviously those areas of liquidity. So yeah, and the spread, good point, Alan. That spread is going to really kind of bite you if it's not where you want it to be either. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it there, guys. Gosh, we're already 50 minutes in. I can't believe it. So if you guys got value out of this, this is what we do on Stockwatch Sunday. We break out the ones that I see value in particular. You guys bring your tickers that you see value in, and we just kind of break those all down and kind of determine, maybe potential areas that we might want to enter or accumulate those positions. Is there value to be had here? We've had ones that was like, oh my gosh, this share structure looks terrible, or maybe they're diluting too much, what have you. So if you guys saw value out of this, I certainly would appreciate a thumbs up. If you want to see more of this, if you want to know how to handle the volatility that we experience in the OTC, there's situations where we'll see 1,000% runs or more. We saw this with CMGO that I just pointed out to you. And, this happens. It's a common occurrence within the OTC. However, you can get burned big time if you have no idea what you're doing. So I would encourage you to check out WeTradeHQ.com. I'd encourage you, if you really want to dive deep into it, I have a morning mentorship where I go live from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. I know there's folks that are watching right now that are personally in my morning mentorship group and see tons of value. It's changed their life. Let me change your life as well. So go check that out. But if you do nothing else, take advantage of all the free stuff that we have over at WeTradeHQ and subscribe to this channel. I go live on Sunday nights, as we are doing right now. I also go live during the middle of the day, in the middle of trading day. It's called a midday market recap. I just kind of go over the stocks that we see value in for that day, what's moving, where's the value at for the day, and people love that. So if you want to see more of this, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and that is it for me, guys. As always, I will see you all before the bell. For my morning mentorship group, I will see you at 9 a.m. And that's it for me, guys. B. Smith is out. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.